I'm Eric D'Amato,
And I'm Classic Gamer.
and welcome back to the Narwhal and Classics Post Play Podcast, where Classics Gamer and I look at games we have both Let's Played and give our similar and varying thoughts on the games in question.
Yeah, and games of various different genres, games that are both good and both bad and both absolutely horrendously terrible. Um, the last two we did, which was Mummy and Gun, two very different games, but two games that we share the same opinion on. The Mummy I think broke us both after that. We don't mention the one level.
Don't mention the lock.
Yes, don't. I'm sorry. I had that was a good play on words, but yes, don't mention the log level, um, or the rock. Shh. But today we are gonna
Oh,
discuss.
he's not in the first one. He doesn't come into the second one.
No, no, no. I'm talking about the rock in the
I
in
know, I
in
know. I'm
the.
talking about the Dwayne
Oh
Johnson,
yeah, yeah. Well,
the
yeah,
Scorpion King.
yeah. To clarify, if people don't know that if you haven't watched Merrick's playthrough, go and watch it. Um, the Bastard Benny episode is by far the most ragey and most
Bastard
hilarious.
Benny.
Yeah, Bastard Benny. And he basically gets to a point where he can't get past this goddamn rock in the river,
Mm.
and he's just like, "How do I get out of the path of the rock?" And then tells the game it's personal now. Anyway,
Yep. But
today,
today we're actually talking. We're taking our first look at a Marvel game.
yes, one of our both our favorites actually.
It's up there for me. I think my favorite Marvel game is kind of a toss up between X Men Origins Wolverine and the Ghost Rider game, but that's biased because I'm a massive Ghost Rider fan.
Yeah.
Like I think every surface of my office is covered in pictures of Ghost Rider, like posters and paintings and shit.
Wow.
Yeah, but we're doing the Punisher.
Yes. Um,
The,
a game. Is it set in the same after the film or before the film?
it is a sequel. It is meant to be a direct sequel to the 2004 Thomas Jane movie. Again, we got Thomas Jane back after Gun because he's in Gun.
Yep.
He's in this too,
Yep. He does the voice
and
of the Punisher
it's
fantastically, I might
trying
add.
to it ties it more into like the main Marvel universe, like the comic Marvel universe. This is before we even thought of the concept of an MCU, a Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
But it's his voice coming out of basically comic book Punisher. It's like the hair, the face. It's all the Punisher.
Yeah. The skull T-shirt, the jacket,
Mm-hmm.
and the game sort of when you start it sort of shows the a cutscene at the end and then shows Punisher being arrested after walking out of a big massive building. And you think, why is he getting arrested? And then it's basically a game set in
Well,
flashback.
you don't really need to think why is he getting arrested because the Punisher. Granted, he only shoots criminals, but the cops don't really like him in the Marvel universe, which is why I'm confused about like Punisher's very anti-police in the books, so it confuses me. American police officers putting Punisher skulls on all their shit now. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, well, in the I I'm not I don't know about that one, but in the game it's basically told in a flashback kind of
Yeah, it's a
style.
flashback in you being interrogated by Detective Soap and Richthofen.
Yes.
I don't. Her name being Richthofen, just something about that's funny to me. That sounds like a one-off German general from Hogan's Heroes or something.
Rick Toffen's that name rings a bell of something else it was in, but
It
I can't.
sounds like it's the World War One the German pilot in Blackadder Goes Forth.
Oh, and it's
I
also
think is
and it and it's also the one from Black Ops. That's where it's from as well.
it sound. I don't think it's the name of like they meet the like Red Baron type character in the final season of Blackadder, and I think they may. It's either him or the Hugh Laurie German prince from season two. That'd be called Richthofen.
Yes. But so you're interrogated. Obviously, Sophie is being the good cop, and she's being the bad cop. It's a very good.
Even though he's not really a good cop, he's really bad at being a cop. He
He is
is a
he he he,
he.
he's a bad, but he's a good guy, bad cop. He's
If
got
you
good intentions.
remember that Simpsons episode where Homer's watching, there's a new TV show, and then there's a Homer character who's really cool, and then they redo it. So there's a Homer character who is a Homer Simpson character called Homer Simpson, who is a freaking clownish buffoon man. It's clownish buffoon man Homer Simpson's cop character from
No,
from the show within a show in The Simpsons.
I haven't heard of that one.
He's very Rodney Dangerfield. This he reminds me of like a more comedic Foggy Nelson from Daredevil.
Okay, so I have to apologise very quickly. I was distracted by my phone then. Um, but
So we get the first mission, which is it's a crack house.
it's an tutorial essentially.
It's a tutorial. It's you first weapon you get's a shotgun, so you know things are gonna be popping off.
Yeah.
And you get the basic premise of the game. It's a third person over the shoulder shooter, mostly. You can dual wield most of the rifles as well as all the pistols.
Yes.
The ones you can't dual wield are slightly disappointingly grenade launchers, obviously flamethrowers, and obviously bazookas and sniper rifles. You cannot dual wield these.
But you can dual wield shotguns as well.
Yeah, obviously. Shotguns, M60s, every kind of machine gun and rifle you can dual wield except the sniper, bazooka, grenade launcher.
MK5 or MP5, whatever it's called.
Yep, that's more a submachine gun than anything else.
Yeah, some machine guns. So you've got a various duration of weapons.
You can melee enemies. This will either be if you'll stab them with a knife, you'll snap their neck, you'll grab them and choke them, and then there are like unique ones for all the weapons too, which can be anything from you just smack them, like you just pistol whip them in the face, or some really amusing ones with the flamethrower where you either put the barrel of the flamethrower in their mouth and fire it,
Yep.
or my favorite in the entire game, you just take the flamethrower tank off your back,
And you hit them over the
bonk
head.
them on the head, and put it back.
I
never
think
don't laugh when that happens.
I think one of my favourites is when you go up to someone, you go to shoot them, you pretend to shoot them, and then you point the gun at the side. They go to flinch, and you don't do it, and then you point the gun at their head, and then you shoot them, because it's just like
I like the one where you toss them the rifle and then stab them in the face.
yeah, that's another good one. These four sort of like you can interrogate them as well, and they give you certain things, and if you manage to do it, they
And
might
you
give
get
you
health back
yeah,
when
you
you
get health back. You also can interrogate them to get flashbacks of different things. So like, I'm innocent, and then he'll go, so are they, and it'll be like, it will
I want to see
echo.
my family.
Yep, and he goes, I have a family, and Punisher just,
I'm just following orders. Flashback to him in the military. That's no excuse. Bang.
yep,
You can your interrogation ways. You have gun tension where you hold a gun to their head. This is one of the hardest to do
you have choke,
without. Yep, which is my favorite.
you have
The choke,
face smash,
which is hilarious.
and you have punch,
Yes,
where you
I'm
literally punch them in the gut or
I'm
the
going
balls.
to I'm going to say where if this game is only not disturbing because all of the NPCs and enemies look like freaking action figure men. Because if this was realistic, this would be very bad.
Yeah, it's obviously it's a 18 rated in the UK or R rated depending on where you are. Um, you get different you get like special execution style ways which are
Special
basic,
like
yeah,
you have like special interrogations,
special
and then you can
interrogations,
execute them.
but on on certain people. So the first one that you get
Oh no,
is,
it's on anybody.
it is
It's
on
it's
anyone,
but you.
but you only get a unique answer from the ones with the skulls over their head.
Of course.
The first one that you do is probably one of the one of the ones that are up there in the top five, I'd say,
Well,
is,
the first one is the window.
yeah,
You
the first
summon
one,
them.
yeah, and if you pay, obviously, if you pay on PS2, you get a black and white filter where it,
Same on PC unless you mod it.
yes. So I modded mine,
I did not.
and I think it's the best to play without the filter.
I am going to disagree for one reason. Losing the filter is cool, but adding the mod can screw up the menus, navigating to like select your arsenal between missions and stuff. It can cause problems with that, and can cause mouse deceleration problems with the interrogations.
I've not didn't notice that, but um, I'll believe you.
I know the super best friends had a lot of problems with that on their playthrough.
Yeah, well, so but you can do that if you want to. It does make it a bit more gruesome, obviously. The one with the window. If you do, and also one thing we do have to also add is when you do interrogations, if you do them right, or you get a number of kills and you get a continuous number of kills without being hit, you get points. And as the points rack up, you get like 25, 70, 100, 500, and then you eventually get like 500 times 2, 500 times 3, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, sometimes 5,000 times 3. I think I've got up to about 5,000 times 3. Um, and those rack up to give you score at the end, which gives you medals, which the only ones on easy and normal are silver and bronze, and then gold is available on hard.
Now, you can also kill them in the interrogation. You lose points if you do this for no adequately explained reason, because obviously
Not
the Punisher
not
is
not
bullshit.
not not many points, but you do lose points.
But when you kill them, Frank worryingly makes a joke because this is funny to him. Like there's one notable one in the second level in the chop shop where you push a man's face into a circle sander,
Yes.
and he says, "Good worker,
Keep your
always
nose
kept
to the
his nose
grindstone.
always kept his nose to the grindstone." It's like, oh my god, Frank,
Yeah. Um.
you can
I I
chrome a
I
man's head.
I think the other one that I love, my favourite one, is when you, and we'll get onto this level later, but this is my favourite bit from this one, is when you're in the zoo and you are taunting the rhino, and if you
Good rhino, good
yeah,
nice rhino, good
good rhino,
stuff.
good teamwork, and and then yeah, so it's,
The most worrying because they're the interrogations, and then they're just environmental executions. Like you can feed a man to a snake,
yep,
or there's one like worrying like Frank, are you okay? One where there's this Aztec altar,
yep,
and you can if you have someone grabbed to use a human, you can bring him there, put him on the altar, and do a full Mayan sacrifice so the blood goes down through the rivulets into the pool.
yeah.
It's like, Frank, this is a little too far, dude.
Yeah, so you get interrogations, but you also get special kills. So other special kills include like the bear trap in the Nucci
Yeah,
estate, the elephant's tusk that you can throw them on,
yeah.
which is just hilarious. The other one
Snake
is
in
the
there's
snake
elephants are treated
in the jungle one before you get to Grinko's.
there's the jet fire from a missile you can kick someone into.
Yeah, it's like that's the leader of that bit with after you fight the Russian. But the first, if we go level by level, which is probably a good way to go, because we can give our overall thoughts on that. Is the first level, as we said, acts as a tutorial. You basically are after someone, Duca, and you're basically asking who, like what you.
Well, in the crack house, that's not why you're there. You hunt Duca afterwards. You're going
Oh
after
yes,
out
yes.
to the crack house because I gotta tell this because this is hilarious to me. You're walking along. You save a woman from being mugged slash raped, whatever is going to happen. You stop it. And then you're walking by, and then there are these two criminals in the crack house who shoot a guy and then throw another out the window, and then they see the Punisher.
And they go, oi,
Hey, look, it's the fucking Punisher. Oh,
hey,
why do you come up here, asshole?
and then they go back, and he's like, hey mate,
What if he
what if he
comes
actually
up?
comes up here?
I'd like because you don't see Frank's face; you see the back of his head. I just want to imagine the expression on his face of really
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
yeah. So you, I can't remember. It was damage. Was it damage?
Damage, yes, damage
Yes.
is the boss. Yes,
So damage is the one at the end of that. He's very simple. You just shoot his hand, and he basically goes, "Wait, don't kill me." And then the way you actually are meant to do it, even though if you do bring him back over and knock him out,
right.
the
There's one you kill with the window. Him, you dangle
yeah, you literally dangle him by his legs, and then
like Eminem once, not Eminem. Vanilla Ice got once got dangled
but
out of a window like that
you
by Flavor Flav.
you bring him back over, knock him out, and then the cutscene plays, and it shows him dead on the ground anyway. So even though you lose,
About Vanilla Ice being dangled out a window by Flavor Flav and relevant to this comic and to this game, there is actually a comic, Punisher versus Vanilla Ice, and I recommend you all go check it out.
I've not heard of that.
It is a uniquely bizarre comic book. I mean, there's also one where the Punisher tries to kill Archie, so who knows?
Yeah, so I'll try and remember that and check it out. But you basically leave the crack house. Someone tries to run you over. You manage to
You try to.
trace it to a chop shop, and Richtofen is like, "How do you do that? Did someone help you?" And Soap's just looking there like,
Yeah, so Soap's working with the Punisher.
yes. Soap basically helps you.
Oh no, it's not Vanilla Ice. Punisher teams up with Eminem in one of
What?
the comics, not Vanilla Ice. My
E-
mistake.
Eminem. Oh wow.
Eminem. Yes. Oh, slight background on the Punisher for those who might not know the Punisher. Frank Castle, Vietnam vet, but that keeps changing depending on what the most recent war was. Family killed in a mob hit, murders criminals. That's pretty much everything you need to know about Frank Castle. Was briefly Sorcerer Supreme, was briefly a black man, was briefly a Frankenstein monster, and was briefly an assassin of heaven. Now, when I say was briefly a black man, I don't mean that a black guy was briefly the Punisher. I mean Punisher was once subjected to surgery that turned him black because comics are insane. This needs to be remembered going into this game.
Yeah, I didn't really. I mean, I don't. I play the games for the enjoyment mostly, and a lot of these things I won't remember. So it's a good learning lesson for me as well. But the next mission is probably one of the better missions in the game. It's the chop shop mission.
The chop shop is fun.
Um, the name is what it suggests. You go for a chop shop. You see a delivery driver who you think is an innocent, and then you hear from this lady, and she's like, don't kill me. And he goes, why are you working in a chop shop? I don't know what they do here. It's just a job. They steal cars and kill people. How would you not know? And it's like, I don't know. Talk to the truck driver. And then you go back, and the truck driver's boasting about how the Punisher's there and how he escaped. And then you creep up behind him and you grab him, and you interrogate him, and then you kill him, depending on what you want to do. Oh, another good thing that I like about it is when you get a glass bottle and you just shove it in their mouth.
Yes.
It's one of the I do that at least a few times during that mission. Um,
My first playthrough, because I have two playthroughs. I have one normal playthrough and like an anniversary playthrough I did with my friend Gio. But
Hmm.
my first time through it, unless absolutely necessary for a boss fight, I did not fire a single shot. I only melee killed.
Wow.
Yes, it was very challenging to only melee kill people.
Yeah, that sounds challenging. I would
Oh,
forget personally.
another game feature. Another game feature. When you get your slaughter meter high enough, you can enter slaughter mode where the game goes black and white. You are indestructible. You're healing health. You're regenerating health, and you huck knives at people
Yeah,
and can quick kill.
yeah. You have
So
infinite.
you replace your guns with two knives.
Yeah, you have infinite knives. You can literally kill people in the most gruesome. You can like bury the knives into the side of their head. You can grab them and punch them with the knife so their head
And their head comes
explodes.
off.
Um, they're very there's so many to list, but they are very fun and it's also a good thing to do when you're in sort of like the last ditch effort when you're basically have no life and you want to gain that little bit of life to give you the edge over the end of the, because there's nothing worse in this game than you dying right at the end, just before the end of the level, and then you have to restart from the checkpoint, which is a long way back. Um, so you go through the chop shop, you eventually head all the way through, you go to see Duca, you go all the way through, you have a cool little interrogation with the drill, which is like, if you do it without the filter, you basically drill the drill into the eye, and then the guy just sits there. The other good one is um, pushing their head into a toilet, and if you actually hold their head down in the water, they're like trying to breathe underwater. You can hit their head on the side of the toilet as well,
Mm.
on the seat, and then when you get to Duca, he's like, "Oh, I thought you were dead." I get that a lot, so a crafty line by Frank. And then you take him outside. He goes, "Let's talk outside. It's getting a little close in here." And then you've got probably one of the best um, situations in the game where you dangle him over a crusher, and when he tells you what you want to know, you throw him in there, you turn it on, and he literally goes like body upwards, legs upwards, and just gets crushed to death. And then all you see is like a
Yeah.
bloody spot in the center of the crusher.
Whether or not you decide to kill him, he dies.
Yeah, whether or not you decide to kill him or not, he still dies. Um, and then you get through like the junkyard, and then you get back to your car, and then the next level is it's the Lucky's Bar, isn't it?
Actually, I think I have I have a level list. So let me just bring that up. Um, Studio.
I think it is.
Okay. Yeah, Lucky's Bar is next, and that one it's a very short level. It is just a it's a boss fight
Yep,
against against a Bobby Nucci who
yep,
has it's indicative of how not great the boss fights are in this game because all you can do is shoot him in the head.
yep. And you it the level isn't difficult, but he's wearing Kevlar under his suit, so you've got to make it
Yeah,
a headshot. And then once you do that, you leave, and then you go to Central Zoo. Well, you go back to your apartment. You find out that
your neighbor Joan's been kidnapped by a freaking idiot called Bushwhacker.
yeah, Bushwhacker with a gun arm, and
Yes.
you go to the Central Zoo, and you see him right at the start with Joan, and he pulls her into the entrance house, and then you have two guys. Well, you can kill one, and then the other guy you can literally put into a wood chipper,
Yes.
which is probably up there in the top three kills for me. Um, where you literally, if you manage to put him through, he's like something makes good mulch. A crafty little line that is just put in there really subtly by Frank.
You can
But
also you can American History X people on the fountain too.
yes, I make sure I do that on every side of the fountain when I play.
Well,
Um,
yeah, you need it symmetrical, right?
yeah, yeah. You need to put the blood all you need to fill the blood all the way around. Like it needs.
You need to make the cops when they get their question why there are freaking art pieces scattered around.
Yeah.
Art pieces of dead Nucci's scattered around.
Why there are people like up against this fountain with their heads split open, with their blood pouring into the fountain.
So
Um,
you go through the zoo. You have to. They've killed all the Nucci's killed all the animals except for the rhino, mainly, and the eels, mainly so the game developers didn't have to animate any animals.
yeah,
So you,
it's a shame. Like and Frank comments on that. He
yeah,
goes, killing innocent animals is just wrong. You get to the
the,
gate after you do the sacrifice, of course, that we mentioned earlier.
one of yeah one of the gate guards actually working with the Nucci's, and if you actually go keep going straight on, they will detonate a bridge and kill you.
Yeah, you have to go
But you
round the long way.
get your revenge, of course.
Yep, and then eventually you get through the gate where the guard is. He says he won't open it till all the Nucci's are dead. And then when you save two guards, you can save both of them if you're quick enough. And also get the guy to be killed by the rhino. You then go back and he tells you that the guard was working with them. You grab the guard and he goes, "Oh, I have a wife and kids." And he goes, he's lying. He doesn't have a kid, and he's just like, "You just got fucked over, my friend." And and then you kill the guard. You go through another part where both your allies die. You can't, and if you let them die, if they die, Frank goes, "I let them all die." I don't think there is a way to do that without them dying. Um,
Yeah. Punisher only has one answer to problems, and that is to kill it.
yes. Um, and then you get to, I think it's the fish place, where you've got piranhas. You can feed a guy
But
literally.
but the problem is Joan is being lowered into the piranhas.
Well, no, this was long. This is long before that. This is when you
Oh,
first get to the, when you first get in, and the guy goes, "Hey Johnny, look, check out these piranhas," and you literally dangle him over the edge of the piranha. And if you do it so it goes black and white, his face literally gets eaten off by piranhas. And if you also get a guy alive, you can literally throw them into the piranha pool, and they'll get eaten anyway. Another cool little added thing, which some games don't take the effort to add those type of things in, but this game makes an effort to add small little details in. Unless you notice them or you know how to do them, you won't see them.
okay.
Um, and then you get to the eel house, and there's an eel that you can electrify someone with.
Yep.
Um, after you,
Interestingly, though, this electric eels do not work this way. They do not generate electrical current. That is a misnomer, but it's a comic book, so whatever.
yeah, but the the kill you do before that is dangling someone off the upper walkway of the same
Yes.
place, and then
Yeah.
and it follows up with a kill where an eel electrocutes you, and then if
Even
you,
eels hate Nucci's.
yeah, and then but if you save the Nucci and he's like swap with for the girl, and you go let him go or he's gonna die, and he goes kill him, what do I care, and he goes don't leave me, boss, and then eventually you then reach where Bushwhacker goes. He destroys part of the wall, which means you can't follow him. And then he's like, "Save me, or follow me, or save the girl." You save Joan. All is good, and then you take her back home. I think. Um,
Yeah. You say you have a time limit. It's very generous.
it is very generous. And then you get on to another great. I mean, all these levels. There's not really a level I'd say in this game that is horrendous apart from the ship level. I don't like that level. Um,
That's just very long.
yeah, it is very long. And then you get
Well,
to
you
the,
save Joan, then you attack you attack a mob funeral
yes, you literally swap out the body of one of the Nucci sons
with
and
yourself,
with yourself,
and you
and you just
You
dump them.
pop out with a machine gun and you just kind of go.
Well, before that, you take them out the coffin, you dump them in a bin.
Yeah, yeah, the bin.
I had to add that. I'm sorry. And then you wait a few seconds. They're all kind of like bowing their heads. Ma isn't there. Ma gets taken back to the Nucci estate, and then you step out, and the room is literally locked down. There's no way of them getting out, and you literally can rack up the points in this one room. And then as you gradually get down their numbers, they're all kind of like, ah! One's running around. Sorry, not my mic there. One's running around like a maniac. And then you get into
The fun thing here is none of them are armed.
no,
A little unbelievable for the mafia, granted, but none of them are armed.
not in
You
that,
can
not in that bit at least.
you plow through them. Yeah, you continue through the funeral home. You have some very amusing quick kills involving and
Put
interrogations involving a freaking crematorium
and
and
also
putting
putting them
people
in a
in a
coffin and throwing a
coffin with a
grenade in.
grenade.
Yep,
Yep. Pianos where you just smash them with the open part of the piano.
yep.
And extremely funny conversation with the Undertaker. It was like, "You're the Punisher. You've been keeping my business afloat for years.
And
You put
the
my
kids
kids through
through
college.
college.
Thank you." It's like, I love it. I love it.
And then when you get up to before you fight the boss of this level, you grab someone, and when you release him, so he distracts him, you stick a charge on his back, and he goes, a remote charge might keep him honest. And then if you time it right, you can literally kill all of them in the entire room, which is
There's an amusing, and you keep fighting through. I was gonna say there's an amusing moment, but then I remember that's in a later level, not this one.
yeah,
You
and
kill all the people, use the morgue stuff, then you face off against another Nucci brother.
um, Eddie,
Yeah, Eddie Nucci.
yeah, and
This is
and
another not great boss fight.
no, I mean the thing about that boss fight is you can literally probably spend half an hour in that one boss fight, ignore Eddie, and just rack up your kills and your points a huge amount without any problem. Um, they just keep coming from downstairs. Suddenly
And
there's
he just running around and
yeah,
just
he's running
fighting.
around. It's very hard to. I just heard Sebastian, I think.
Yeah, Sebastian. He has his own 2 cents on the Punisher game.
So, and then when you kill him, he's like, any final words, Eddie? My war won't rest till you're dead. And you just throw him out of a window, and he lands on a spike on the gate on the fence, and just like,
Yes, it's
"Ugh!"
beautiful. It is a
It is,
beautiful death.
it's beautiful. And then you get onto probably maybe the best mission in the game. I don't
The
know.
Nucci, you attack the Nucci stronghold,
Yes.
and you do eventually kill Ma. Spoilers. There's a funny bit at the beginning where if you throw a live person down the well and you bring another person back there, they will still be down the well, and they'll talk. They'll have like a little dialogue that they have.
Really?
Like, hey guys, I'm still down here. I'm alive. Think I broke my legs. Can you help me get that? It's really dark down here. I'm getting kind of hungry.
They have.
And that
Really? I
there's
didn't
so
know
much
that.
like hidden. Look, did you know there are unlockable costumes in the game?
No.
There are unlockable. Like there's a classic Punisher suit. There's the gray T-shirt with the skull and the hand wraps. There's a lot of stuff that's in the game that you don't know at first. The car that almost hits runs Frank over has the license plate ASM 170 something, which is Amazing Spider-Man 170 something, which is the first appearance of the Punisher.
Ah.
Because he started as a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah. But
It's so full of
I,
little
I,
little
I,
little
I
hidden
didn't
secrets.
I didn't know that you could throw two people down the well.
Yeah. Well, you throw one person down the well, then you bring another person back, but don't shoot them. Just like chuck them down the well. It's an interesting little Easter egg.
So you throw the first one down the well with the special interrogation, and then you bring another guy back there, and Because you can't pick what you so you pick them up and then throw them in the on the well
Yeah,
again.
not interrogate. Like you interrogate one, then you throw one down the well. It is a it's kind of hard to get to work, but it's funny when you do.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Probably find it. You can probably find like a guide online on how to do
Yeah, I have to,
it. So you go through the Nucci estate. You kill people with her medieval trophy room, and
which is
you finally
awesome.
fight Bushwhacker.
Oh, before that, you also impale someone on a um, kind of like a samurai sword on a
Yes,
statue.
a naginata.
Yeah.
A naginata.
And then you fight Bushwhacker, who,
Well, you do find someone like locked in the basement and like, hey, can you help me? I'm locked in the basement. Okay, I'll see what I can do. You find out they're locked in the basement for selling cocaine to Manucci's granddaughter. So you let him out, then immediately shoot him in the head.
yeah. Well, I mean, you open up the cage and he's like, "Oh, thanks, man." He goes, "Hang on a minute, I heard you do drugs." Oh man, don't kill me.
You also you find a room full of heroin, like bricks of heroin, and you plant an explosive inside. And I find this amusing because he stays in not necessarily the blast radius, but he does stay around the smoke. So Frank has just inhaled like I don't know how many kilos of cocaine or heroin or whatever it is, but I'm just
Ga-
wondering what the
game,
effects of
game,
like inhaling
game
that
logic.
much. Yeah,
Game
game
logic.
logic, but
Yeah.
it would explain slaughter mode if he
Don't
just
argue with game logic.
it would explain the slaughter mode if he just huffs an entire room full of heroin.
Yeah, and then you eventually get through the
But kill
last of Mars
Bushwhacker.
defense, and then
You fight Bushwhacker. The fight with him is also pretty bad. What you got to do is you got to shoot his sunglasses off and then flashbang him.
well, the thing
Like
is suddenly he has um sunglasses on, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
he had surgery on his eyes. When did that happen in between Central Zoo and New Tuesday? How long passed? You know,
I don't know.
um, again, game logic. And then you eventually get through all of that. You get through the man is now on fire. You
You got to
act
be really. You got to shoot
the sprinklers,
sprinklers to get them to activate. You meet the Russians. The Russians have started appearing as an enemy now, and you throw them out a window for like a few minutes.
and then you then get to Ma, and she goes, "Why can't you just leave me alone?" And then you throw her. You literally throw her against the window. It cracks but doesn't break. And then you throw her out again, and she falls and dies. Um,
That's actually a reference to one of the comics, but it's not. He doesn't throw her once and then out again. He throws her against the window for like 15 minutes
wow.
in the comic because Frank Castle, no half measures, right?
Well, the thing is that does she in this bit does she die because later
In
on when
in
you're in another level, like you literally get told like Mars sends this message to you.
I don't know. I think she does. It does. She's out of the game at this point,
Well, it's
regardless.
either that she's either dead or that she left instructions or she's heavily injured and dying in a hospital bed somewhere.
Well, I think it might be like in have you played Fable?
Yes.
After you kill, if you either kill or humiliate Twinblade, either way, he'll send the assassins will come for you for revenge.
Yeah.
I think it's like that. Like it's a Twinblade says hello is like a revenge thing.
Yeah. I mean, I forgot that he actually comes after you if you don't if you let him go. I thought if you let him go,
Oh,
then
he doesn't come after. He will not come after you. He's out of the game. But assassins will be sent after you for the humiliation or for the murder. In
yes,
that
yes.
game.
And then once you kill or main or whatever you do to Mar, you then get on to Pier 74, which is
Where you
another
meet Black Widow.
yes, Black Widow, the same character that you see in the MCU.
Yes, Scarlett Johansson's
but
character.
she has a Russian accent in this.
Yes.
Where
Now, people complain that Scarlett Johansson does not have a Russian accent because Black Widow is Russian, Natasha Romanoff. I, however, question that why would an international super spy have an identifiable accent? But then Black Widow as a spy kind of suffers from the James Bond problem of I argue that James Bond's not a good spy because everyone knows who James Bond is,
yeah, I mean,
except for Black Widow.
uh, yeah, I think make a good
Oh,
point. That you get through uh Pier 74, you save Black Widow. After you basically have another witty line from Frank where you smash the guy's head into a display case and you go, "You break it, you bought it."
yeah.
And it's just these,
You throw a lot of people to the fish.
yeah, it's just also you can also randomly, if you want to, if you don't get any points, you can, if you pick up people, you can literally throw them into the river. Um, and they'll just land in the river and then just disappear. And then there is a special kill in this one. Oh, it's the shark. There's a special one
Yes.
where like, it's the same as the rhino, except it's much more in your face, I'd say, without the filter. Um, and then
You
you
fight a tank.
you fight a tank and you can defeat it in 4 shots with a grenade launcher.
Or
Um,
you can be an absolute fool and use not the grenade launcher to fight the
Yeah, and it will take you
tank.
ages. And then Black Widow, after you defeat the tank, shoots her way through the big door, because why not?
Yeah, do
Um,
the RoboCop thing. Why not?
yeah, and then she says, right, there's 2 nukes on 2 ships.
There's the
You
Red Guardian and the Igor Batinsky, and you go and you storm the Igor Batinsky, and you rescue some women who are going to be sold into human trafficking. There
after
is no nuke because you're looking for a nuke because a guy called General Kreekopf has stolen a nuke and is going to use it, and you got to stop him.
Yes, but on the start of that level, you have another great kill is when you put a guy's hands into a big hook and you raise him up and you literally hear the
Yes,
cracking of his arms, and if you do it too much, like a slight too nudge on the stick or the mouse will kill him. It's very easy to do. Some of these things are very
you get another really funny video game logic ones because there's a on the ship in the engine room. There's a belt. There's like a belt that's part of the engine, and you can like push a person's face into that, and like you push them a bit, then take them away, then put them a bit, then take them away. It's funny because if even like the smallest amount of your skin touches that, it's it's ripped off you. The speed that thing's going, one touch and you're gone.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And then you have another one with a forklift where you literally run over a
Yes,
guy.
that
Um,
the forklift could have been a lot more interesting. I feel
yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's just
it's a forklift. There are so many possibilities.
yes, there are.
Think of the Mystery Theater 3000 references.
Yes, and then after you do that, um, you rescue the girls. You kill the captain.
Yep.
Um, after doing one of the best kills, which is the flamethrower, which we mentioned earlier. And then you kill the captain and you escape the boat. You give one of the girls, the only 2 girls that you rescue, the thing, and she pushes the button. So technically, you don't kill someone there, because she is by her hand. And
That's
then,
fair enough, right?
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, she was treated like she was treated badly, or like saying that she was treated like an animal by those people.
And
Um,
then we get, in my opinion, the single best level in the game.
yes.
You go home, you're relaxing at home. Then there's a knock on the door,
You think it's Joan.
and freaking and the Russian comes in. Now the Russian, he's a character from the comics. He's in the movie, played by Kevin Nash, but he can best be described as Where's Waldo on steroids. He is this massive blonde Russian man with spiderweb tattoos on his neck, a stripy red and and white shirt and blue pants, and he is immune to everything in this fight.
Yeah.
You cannot shoot him. You cannot. You could throw. You don't. You have no guns. You
Well,
have no knives.
you literally put your guns down on the table, but you don't pick them back up.
You can't. You can pick up melee weapons and throw them at him,
A
but
baseball bat,
he just
crowbar.
laughs at he just laughs at you. What you
He
do
goes,
is
"Bullets are like mosquitoes to the Russian."
you wait for him to do his big attack. Then he's stunned. Then you jump on his back, and then you ride him into stuff.
Yeah. So the
First
first,
is the fridge.
yeah, the first one is the fridge where you, and then he's like, he goes, "Oh, Punisher playing rough."
And then I can't remember what. Then it's a television.
No, no, it's the computers, isn't it?
Yeah, you smash him into the computers.
Yeah, like he
And
throws you
then
into the next apartment, which is surprisingly empty.
it's a reference to a scene in the movie as well, which is the fight with the Russian is fantastic.
Yeah,
Have you seen the movie?
I have seen the movie. I
Yeah,
do.
the only thing that would have made this scene better for me is if they had scored it with La Donna Mobile.
With who?
Would have made this boss fight perfect. You know, in the movie, it's the La Donna Mobile, Bella Sensual.
Oh,
That opera thing is that the Pavarotti song is playing in the scene in the movie. It
yeah,
would
I
have
remember.
worked.
I remember
It's
now.
cool that they could have gotten that for the game.
Yeah.
But it's probably licensing.
Yeah. So you eventually then stun him. You have to stun him 3 times, and every time you hit him into the special, you have to do a special kill, a special attack, and it will take off like a third of his life. And then you throw him into the TV. Eventually, he passes out, and then you throw him, and then you manage to he picks him up with all his strength. You know he's been thrown through 2 walls, and thrown across the room multiple times,
And you put him out the window.
and you put him out the window, and then you look up, and he's like, "That's not good."
He's Michael Myers away.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the ending of Halloween. Like
So
they put Michael Myers through the window. They after like shooting him 7 times, and then they look back out the window and he's gone.
yes, and then he runs off, and then you're on to the next level, which is Grand Nixon Island.
Where you team up with the one, the only Nick Fury, leader of Shield.
Yep, but he's not the Nick Fury that you might know from the MCU. He's a very
He's the Nick Fury of because the MCU Nick Fury, the Sam Jackson Nick Fury, is the Nick Fury from the Ultimate Comics. The standard Nick Fury is a white guy with brown hair and like the white Reed Richards streaks on the side. There's actually a movie with him, movie about him where he's played by David Hasselhoff that came out in the '90s, which is that I reviewed, and it's surprisingly fun. It's a surprisingly fun film for what it is. I do recommend checking it out. The whole thing should be on YouTube.
I'll
Movie.
have a look at that.
But you team up with him, and you're going through the jungle. You got your before you've had coat Punisher and coatless Punisher. This time you get a jungle Frank, where he swapped out the skull T-shirt for a green just green camo shirt,
Yep.
green pants, and he put green face paint on his war paint on his face with the Punisher skull painted on his face, and it looks ridiculous, but it's great.
Yes.
And you go through the jungle, you kill people, more quick kills. This level is one of the hardest for me because it has the freaking gondola sniping
Oh
section.
God. Yeah.
And then you fight the Russian again.
Yep. And in this one, he's
But
above you.
He has two fun things. Here's one, a really great line. It's clobbering time. Favorite saying of thing. Rockman the Fantastic Four. Big superhero in Russia.
and if you shoot him, he's like, "Ha ha! Bullets are like mosquitoes to the Russian."
He has the fighting, at least this is a 2-phase boss fight. And in the first phase, Nick Fury's been knocked out by this point. This is you and Nick Fury. You go through the island, you get to this point. But he has the fighting style of Donkey Kong. Because his whole thing is he picks up flaming barrels and he throws them at you,
And the
and
only
then
yeah, the only way
you
you
shoot
can
the
yeah,
flaming barrel when he's holding it and it blows up in his
he
face.
lights it and then he throws it, and then when you do enough damage to him, he
He
runs
jumps
after
down,
you while on fire.
well on fire, and there are ads. There are enemies coming in after you. This bit is actually really freaking scary when you're playing it for the
Yeah,
first time.
and also bloody difficult when if he touches you, and you have you may not have much life by this point. I'll be very surprised if you do. You'll die pretty quickly, and then you have to start all over again.
And granted, you can like torture one of the guys to get more health back, but I guarantee the Russian will find you before you get him that far, before you
Well,
break the guy.
I always take them into one of those little rooms, but he can get through the doors.
Oh, that's the problem. If he gets into the little room with you, you're very screwed.
Yes, but
And you can't shoot him. You have to wait for his being on fire to ignite a barrel. Then you shoot that barrel,
yeah,
and
yeah,
the timing
but
on
you
it
have to
is
lure
tough.
him near the barrel for it to turn on fire, or it won't work.
It's the timing is tough on this,
Yeah,
but you
it is
finally
tough.
get him down. You kill General Krikov. You stop the nuke from launching, and you keep the nuke launches at the island it's on, and Punisher escapes on a plane. I think Punisher may have accidentally started World War III here.
Well, I think at that point, you you have Nick on your back after. Well,
Yep,
you kill what's his name in
General Krikov.
General Krikov
You kick him
in
into
the
the jet
flame
fire.
of the actual nuke. You throw him in there and he lights on fire, and then you chase after the plane that's trying to escape. You grab the pilot, throw him out, and he just looks up at the plane as it flies away and goes, "I can't believe he let him live. Oh, you let me live."
Nuclear
And then,
bunker fire.
and then it just cuts to a camera of the plane coming up, and the island just goes. It's just like,
And
nope, you're dead.
and then we this is like the game I divide into like three sections. There's the Nucci section, which goes up until the Nucci estate. Then there's the Russian section. Then there's the Yakuza section. This is the end of the Russian section.
Yes. And this is where
Then
the enemies start getting a little bit tougher and more smart and aggressive. Um, you,
now the next level is Fisk Industries,
yes,
which is the Kingpin's building.
yes,
Now, this is a building with security. The idea that Frank Castle, the who is known to be the Punisher, could even get inside this building.
yeah. You just walk in casually, like there's nothing wrong.
But that's like this. If he that wouldn't. Now
I'm glad we both agree on that.
he wouldn't be getting in ever. Like there's actually an entire comic. The whole comic is Frank trying to get in to the Fisk Industries to kill the Kingpin, and he can't because they won't let him in. It's his various plans to get in, and none of them work. It's kind of funny actually.
Yes,
Can't remember the name of it, or I'd link it.
but you get into the first part. You basically dump some C4 into a thing in the just
yeah,
past
to
the
a
lot.
mail drop,
Yeah,
and then you get it
mail
right
drop.
back.
Yeah, and then you go through a from the bottom and work your way up, and then you fight probably one of the most
Bullseye.
annoying bosses in the fucking game, Bullseye, and you have
I found the interesting either glitch, bug, or Easter egg. The on when I fought him in my Redux, is I chose the flamethrower for the mission, which wasn't very useful. I relied on my pistols through most of it, but I chose the flamethrower for this very reason. Because when I got to Jigsaw, you do that boss fight thing, and I don't know, and because you have to, the thing is he's running around just throwing knives at you, and you have to hit him in the head. The only place he will take damage is the head. It's like the Eddie Nucci boss, the Bobby Nucci boss fight again, but with a greater area to play in, and the enemy and the opponent's a lot more dangerous.
yeah, and he
So
will move. He will do somersaults. He will do backflips. He'll throw three knives
What
at
you're
you, one knife at you,
supposed to do is throw grenades at him. That's what you're supposed to do. Grenades or shoot him in the head.
and
But
it stuns him, doesn't it?
hit him.
Grenades.
I hit him with the flamethrower. Now I used the flamethrower on him, and I don't. I and after like a few seconds of the flamethrower, he just left. And I don't know if it's because it did enough damage to get him to that point, or if it's because it's like a programmed in thing. Like, holy shit, a flamethrower? No, I'm not fighting. That's no, I'm not dealing with this, and leaves. But it was funny for me. Just he comes in, flamethrower, runs off. Immediately runs off because of flamethrower.
Just so you know, Sox is currently on my lap because she wants attention. So
Oh,
she's not leaving me alone at the moment.
that's fine.
Yes, hello Sox. You want to be in the podcast as well? I bet everyone can hear. No, don't rub your head against the mic, please. I don't really want feedback going down the mic. No, I know. Merrick wants to hear you too, but and so do the listeners. But we've got a podcast to do. Okay, go on, off you get. There she goes. Okay, sorry about that. And then once you fight Jigsaw in the first bit, you then go through, which is quite challenging. I actually fell down this next bit. When you go to the lift shaft and you dangle someone, I accidentally fell down. Had to do a whole fight over again. I was not impressed. And
You're
then
fighting Kingpin. You're fighting Kingpin's dudes. You're fighting his goons.
yes, and then you get
Um,
to another part with Jigsaw. No, not Jigsaw. Bullseye.
Bullseye.
Um,
You same boss fight.
Same boss fight, or second part of the boss fight, and then you have like a big funnel with like a flame in it that you can stuff someone's head into, which is another very good kill. And then you get up to the Kingpin's floor where the gym part things he's got in his gym, like the weights are gigantic, they like tower above you. And then you fight Bullseye for the final time, and then when you beat him, because you got a grenade in that room, so you can literally defeat him pretty easily. When you defeat him, he's crawling on the floor. He's like mouth open, like how? Oh my god, how can this happen to me? And you throw him out the window. A lot of characters get thrown out the window on this game. And then
Yep.
you are confronted by Kingpin, who doesn't kill you. You don't fight him. He just says we have a common enemy. It's our best interest to find him and eliminate him. And then you get onto the next level, which is the Pier 74 revisited, but you go from the opposite
Other
way.
side. It's not very interesting. You break a battleship with a crane. It's about the only interesting thing. There's a ship and you break it with a crane.
Yeah, and and he goes, it's like cracking someone's skull with
So with a teaspoon.
yeah.
It's one of the. He has a few lines like that, like the another ceiling fan tragedy line, where you just go, oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, that's one from the Grand Nixon Island where like you literally hold someone up to a ceiling fan and and you shove them up there and the fan gets stuck and then starts going and the boy just falls down with his head chopped off and that's when he says another ceiling fan tragedy. There's so many good environmental kills in this game that really it's hard to really know where you want to place them because they're all unique and good. There's never one really the same.
Mm.
Um, but then after PS74 Revisited, which is very opposite way to how the first time you went through it goes on, and then you get to a,
A meat packing plant.
literally a meat packing plant where that has some of the best
You
environmental
can
kills.
put a man through one of the vacuum wrappers.
Yep, and you can also put them through one of the ones that
Meat grinders,
meat,
obviously.
you can head first into a meat grinder. Don't forget that.
Yep.
And then
Which is, by the way, Frank, no. Feet first. They'll die too fast otherwise. Come on.
and then the other one is the one where you shove them up and they get taken up and the blood all goes through the tubing. I think that's
Yep.
the sausage one.
Yep.
And then you get to like the you basically in this one you team up with the Nucci's.
Yes.
If you agree to not
You
kill,
can.
you
They will
can.
turn on you.
Yeah,
they will absolutely turn on you regardless. But you can team up with them for a bit
yeah,
against the Yakuza.
yeah. You like you.
Oh, we forgot to say in the Kingpin level, he does tell you that um, trying to play them off against each other. The Yakuza are trying to play us against each other, and then the Yakuza attack you
Yeah, so it's like someone's
because you do
using
not
you to destroy
get
my
to
businesses.
you don't get to fight the Kingpin.
No, I don't think that this game needed that. I think it's got.
No, no, it's fine without that. They were going
Yeah,
to do a sequel. They're either going to do a sequel where the Kingpin's the main villain because that's what the ending like suggests, or there was a Daredevil game in the works that got canceled that was going to have Kingpin
yeah.
and
Well,
be in the same universe.
it was a shame they didn't have a sequel for this game. There is another Punisher game, but it's god awful.
Oh yeah, the
We
yeah the one we don't talk about that
yeah
one.
we don't.
It's just a shitty online shooter, isn't
Yeah,
it?
and it's also it's kind of up there with the log level one mummy. We don't talk about it.
I mean,
If you do, you have to speak in whispers because it's like yeah.
isn't it not even available anymore? It got taken down. Like
I
you got
don't
to
know,
discontinue
and
or
I
something.
played it once, thought it was shit. There's no kills. It's just you shooting people, and Frank not even. I think he says witty lines, but then you eventually get to the leader of the meatpacking plant, who basically says, but Maya wants to send you a message, which suggests that she might be alive. Um,
Maybe. Point is, but after they say that, they're not.
nope, they're not. You kill them
I
all.
mean, let's be realistic. Frank was going to turn on them by the end eventually anyway,
Yeah,
because they're criminals. They have to die. That's what
yeah,
what
yeah.
makes criminals.
He is the Punisher. That's exactly what he does. He punishes, and then we get on to the next level, which is the Stark Tower,
The
where
Stark Labs is just too much.
yeah, it's got like the
You
first.
can Goldfinger someone.
Well, the first thing you do is put someone on a table with a laser and literally
Yeah, that's
cut
what I
them.
mean. You gold like the. Do you expect me to talk? No, Mister Bond. I expect you to die.
Yeah, um, and that one is funny. The other one
That
is on with
one I quite like is there's the gears,
yeah, yeah,
and you put their head between the
yeah,
gears, and it
yeah,
pops their head off.
and the gears kind of stop for a second and then force their way round.
You do kind of team up with Tony Stark's like security force, and they will just give you a gun
Yeah,
because you start this level with no weapons because you're on a guided tour of Stark Industries.
yeah. You want a
With
guy.
the unfortunately named in Britain because this word doesn't mean anything here, but it's kind of a slur in the UK. I've heard. Uh, I'm not going to say it, but you'll know who I mean, Classix, when I say Dave.
Yeah,
That the word I will not say. Y'all probably know it. But what does that word mean, Classics?
I don't actually know. I know I can hear the word in my head, but I've never actually thought about it properly. But
Spacker.
yeah,
So Spacker Dave.
I've not actually looked it up. Um, 'Cause I never really thought about it like that. It actually sounds intriguing now you say it. But you go through this level and then you fight a helicopter, which is just
It is a
annoying.
it's British slang offensive for a spack, a clumsy or foolish person.
Oh
Oh, it's
yeah,
not that bad. It's just like moron or something. Oh, I thought it was like I thought it was something like the R word.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, the R word in the UK means something completely different as it would maybe in like I don't know if it means stupid for you, but for over here it's an insult to someone with
It's
disabilities.
yes, it is that down here.
Not so much in America. America means stupid.
Oh no. In America, it does mean that it means that too. They just don't care so much.
Yeah,
It's often used as a slur, but they if you start talking about not being okay with someone using a slur at you, you get accused of a whole bunch of stuff. But whatever.
yeah, because freedom of speech and all
America's
that kind of stuff.
freedom of speech. The freedom of speech does not mean that. Well, freedom of speech, yeah, but people have freedom of speech towards you as well, is what people forget.
Yeah, like
Anyway,
definitely
you you fight through the laboratory. You use a lot of cool machines to kill people with.
computers.
No laser gun, disappointingly.
Oh, that's the other good one. You got that jet of flame coming out,
Yes.
and you throw him in, and he just launches across the thing. And the environmental kill where you shove him into like a thing in the wall that's been broken, like, and he electrifies. And zzz.
Yep. You
Another
get a
very
boss fight
yeah against a helicopter.
because it's a shooting game. There's going to be a helicopter boss fight. It's
Yeah,
just how it is.
it just
There's always a helicopter.
yeah. Like I can't think of a game that doesn't have a helicopter fight.
Even Perfect Dark has sort of a helicopter boss
I've not
fight
played
in
that,
one
so
of the
I
levels.
I can't say that.
Highly recommend. It's like it's GoldenEye, but even more, even better.
No, no, I have heard great. I think I did play it briefly when I was growing up, but it was
Mm.
very rare that I played it because my friend had the N64, I didn't.
Gotcha,
And then
gotcha.
once you beat that, you then see Iron Man.
Oh, he's
He's like, I saw the Punisher in the midst of things. Oh, he stole, we don't know why he
oh
was here.
there's another guy. He stole some paper clips, a mug, and some scrap metal. Should I call the police?
And
Iron Man face palm, shakes his
oh,
head.
just I need a drink.
That's a joke based on. That's a joke that's almost not a joke because it's based on. There's this famous storyline in Marvel with Iron Man called "Demon in a Bottle" about him battling crippling alcoholism,
I was going.
and that's what that's a reference to.
Oh dear.
Because Tony Stark's an alcoholic, was an alcohol, a
I
massive alcoholic.
I wouldn't be surprised. And then you get onto the second to last mission, which is the Takaki building, which has
Yes,
some
it's
more great environmental kills in this. My
you
favourite.
deep fry a man's head.
Yes, you deep frown on mine's head. You also slam a man's face in a shutter,
Yep. You
which isn't as good as deep frying a man's head. And the thing is,
no.
you can do that more than there's like four fryers in the kitchen, so you
Yep.
get four times the satisfaction of watching a man scream as you pow. Oh, that's another one from the chop shop. Uh, is it the chop shop one? Yeah, it is. Where you put a man's face in the stuff that makes him like a metal face.
Yeah, you make him look like Destro from GI Joe,
Yeah, yeah.
played by Christopher Eccleston in the movie for some reason.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Doctor Who is a GI Joe villain.
Yeah, yeah, he was great as Doctor Who. But
I
yeah,
think you told me he was the one that regenerated from the War Doctor, which is why he was more violent
yeah,
in past parts.
that was more later on because he does generate from the War Doctor, which is John Hurt, um, one
The
of
legendary
yeah,
John Hurt.
a fantastic actor. The voice
I
of the
want this.
the voice
I
of the
want this terrorist found, and I want him to know what terror really is.
yes, he's also the voice of the dragon in Merlin as
I
well.
love Merlin. He is also the voice of the Horned King in Disney's The Black Cauldron, and he is the original voice of Aragorn in the 1979 Lord of the Rings movie by Ralph Bakshi.
Is he? Ah.
He is the original King Aragorn.
Oh, and also he is also Kane in Alien.
Yep, and he's also in 1984.
Is he in the film in 1984?
Yep, which is why he was chosen to be Sutler in V for Vendetta.
Oh,
He's the main character in 1984. Oh yeah, also he's Ollivander
I know he was
in
in
Harry
the
Potter.
first Alien. Didn't know he. So he's in the. He's not in the next Alien film, is he?
No, he's the one the chest burster comes out
Oh no, I know that.
of. No, he's not in the next
But
one. Michael Biehn and Lance Henriksen.
yeah, I mean, he great actor, legendary, well known. If you and he was the War Doctor, which is why when they give him because they made some short like the special episode where it has the War Doctor in, he basically the movie, the TV movie, um, he regenerates into War Doctor. They give him that they do a special short one where they actually give him a regeneration because those two guys never got a regeneration. They never got the honor, and they did it because they wanted to honor the fact that they deserve a regeneration scene. And when he turns into War Doctor, he's like, make me a warrior, make me a person for war. So he gets given the choice between two drinks, which forces a regeneration. And then when he regenerates into Christopher Eccleston's Doctor, that's why when he speaks to the Daleks, he's like, "I'm going to find you, and I'm going to wipe every stinker target off the face of the earth." And that's when he's a little bit too into it. But that's explained because you think, why is he like that? And then it's kind of explained later. Um, and then
Um, so you fight through you blow up your Takagi building. You fight to the top. You meet Takagi, and he's like, "Hey, I'm no longer the head of the Yakuza. It's Jigsaw, and he has a bone to pick with you. So what you're going to do is you're going to kill me with my katana, and then my guards are going to try to kill you, but you should try to escape from my building."
well, he says that they won't attack you. The loyal ones that are still loyal won't attack you as long as you kill me with my katana. Which you kill him in the worst possible way. You don't go easy on him. You chop off his arms
Well,
and
no,
then his
you
head.
do. You do. I just took his. For me, it just took the head off. It did the proper honorable Japanese harikari thing.
Oh yeah, you stab him.
You stab him
You
and
stab
then you
him.
cut his head off.
Yeah.
It's
Um.
a it's an honor thing in
Yeah.
samurai.
And then you go through to where the last cutscene is, where you say last bullet, and
But this bit is one of the hardest bits in the game
yes, it
because
goes.
you have to hold off for 2 minutes against endless guys
Yes.
until a door opens and you escape. But even when you escape, there's still like a fire corridor where they never stop shooting at you.
Yeah, there's also a minigun in this corridor just before the end, and then
Yep.
you go down to the main lobby. You see the last bullet cutscene from the start of the game, and then you come outside, and Soap's like, "Please, just do what I want. You're making me look bad."
And
And
he does. And remember,
Frank just looks at him in this
Rikers.
intimidating way, and he's just like, please, just put your hands
And then
behind your back."
Frank's remember Rikers.
Yeah, and then you
And
get
so
to
it's his plan to be in Rikers.
yes, and then you eventually you come to the
We
full
get a cameo
circle.
from Daredevil.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
Daredevil's
because
in the
Matt Murdock,
yeah, and
your lawyer, but you refuse.
you fire him, and he's like, I
Yeah.
don't recommend it, and he goes, I don't need a lawyer, you're fired. And then the game basically comes full circle, and now you're back to why you're here in the first place.
In my opinion, and you're here because Jigsaw is going to be attacking, and you want to kill Jigsaw.
Yeah,
And I gotta say, I don't like this last prison level.
no, I'm not keen on it either.
It's fun. The quick kills are fine. The combat is fine. The problem is you get one of the worst boss fights of all time
Oh
with Jigsaw,
yeah,
and you're not the Punisher. You're some guy in prison whites. It doesn't feel like at least I've said this before many times, but at least like a stop off in evidence to get your shirt, because it doesn't. It just feels like some rando prisoner. It's more like the Suffering than the Punisher at this point. Anyway, it doesn't feel like the Punisher in this,
I've not played the Suffering.
and it's interesting for its time.
I want to play it, but I'm a bit put off by certain parts of it. But there are some good
Understandable.
environmental kills in this. You can
There's you put a man in an electric chair.
literally in the electric chair, and he's like,
There's also
"You're
one
you're."
that's so bad that they have to cut away.
Oh, that's the one where you strangle someone in the rope.
No, that's the one where you hang a black man. That's the one where even on the mod it will not let you it will not let you see it
Yeah,
because it's a little too much, too little too charged, shall we say?
yeah. I mean, the thing is that what I would say is that that is something that shouldn't be shown, but at the same time, um, It's down to like the history of that kind of thing and why it's bad. But
True, but okay. The thing is, you shouldn't really show your hero committing what looks like a hate crime.
yeah, but also the other thing as well about that is that it is a game. So if you take a game being serious, then
True. Well, it's the imagery they didn't want to show.
yeah, it's the fact that it's associated with real life situations that did happen, and people would find it very insulting.
I think
Um,
just not like I would have fixed it by just not having all those criminals in that all the NPC all the enemies in that area where that kill is just not be black,
yeah, I
and then
mean,
the situation wouldn't happen, and you're just
no, not at all. There are some good other environmental kills as well. The electric chair being probably the best one, where you smash someone's face against one of the doors of the cells.
yeah.
You put someone underneath
The
a
you
press.
throw someone into the transformers to electrocute them
Yep,
because it's the only way you can think of shutting off power.
yep. And then there's the other one, because you do that to rescue a guard, and then he dies anyway. And then another one is in a press in the laundry.
Oh yes, laundry press, the license plate makers,
Yes.
and then you get the boss fight, the most tedious boss fight in the game. Jigsaw in an Iron Man suit.
Yeah, well, the before that, the three machines in that room, where one's basically like a big thing coming down on the thing, the other one is like a big like press coming down, and those ones I can never do. I can't do them. I've tried. I've gone back and tried again. Rikers Island took me over an hour to do. But then yeah, then you go through another big fight where you're fighting all the Yakuza, which most of them have helmets on. Oh, pro tip as well for the Yakuza: if the ones with the mask on, if you shoot them in the face, their front part will fall off, and they're then easy
Other pro
kills.
tip: no matter how much body armor or helmets they have, they all melee kills are 100% guaranteed to be one hit. So their helmet doesn't matter. You can stab right through the top of that
Yeah, like you can
without
literally
any
like stab
difficulty.
them through the top of the head, and it's like, well, he's got a helmet on. Like, how can you must have to do some enormous force to get that to work. Anyway, after
Comic
you,
world, video game logic based on comic book. Let's just say it's made out of the knives are adamantium, like Wolverine's claws.
yeah,
Problem solved.
and then you go through this bit which is tedious and annoying, and then
You
you
have to
get
shoot him in the jetpack a few times. Then you have to make him run around and
yeah,
detonate landmines so you blow off bits of his armor. It's really boring.
yeah, it's annoying because it's the mines you put on the walls, and you have to lure him in, but he is
And
smart.
he can shoot the landmines too before he goes in. He's
Yeah,
smart that way.
but if you lure him and he sees you placing the mine, or he catches you, he won't go that location. He'll
No.
go the other way. So it's some very probably the most intelligent AI in the game in terms of a boss fight, because he'll change direction, he will run around, and he goes and he taunts you the entire time. I sure miss your family, Frank. Don't you?
Oh yeah, this is a guy who killed your family in the movie.
Yeah. Um, I can't remember the other one, but definitely the one that taunts you the most is, "I sure miss your family, Frank. Don't
You're weak and
you?
you're gonna die. It's
you
one of our favorites.
yeah, you're weak and you're gonna
Shout out
die."
Narwhal Entertainment.
I don't know what other one there is. Um, but then when you beat him, the final cutscene appears, and the police come on and says, "Castle, if you release your hostage, we will let you go." And you're wearing Jigsaw's helmet,
You're wearing Jigsaw's armor. Someone has a hat on, has a bag over their
who
head,
they think is the warden.
who they think is the warden, and you toss someone with a bag over their head who they think is Detective Soap. So, and yes, the prison level does end with a dropping the soap joke, but the soap ends up being Jigsaw Jigsaw ends up being Frank, and the guy with the bag on his head ends up being Soap.
Yeah, and Jigsaw falls onto a car. The warden, oh, it's the warden talking to you. If you let the prisoner go, we'll let you go, and then you fly off, and then another final cutscene appears where you've got Jigsaw dead in a morgue with for some reason the Kingpin is there.
No, it is Kingpin, but that's Bullseye.
Oh yeah, Bullseye. Sorry.
It's got Bullseye and Frank's and Kingpin's like, get this failure to the operating room. We're gonna rebuild him. Also, Frank has insulted me for the last time. The Punisher must die. That was gonna be the plot of game two.
Yeah. But they never made
And
a
then you
game
get the
two.
credits with freaking Alien Ant Farm music.
I don't. I
It's dark in here. It's whatever. Not my thing, but fits for the Punisher, I guess.
Yeah, but it's a shame they didn't make another game of the
Mm,
Punisher. Um, on this style, I think it. I mean, this game maybe could do with a remaster or a remake. I don't see that being something that can't be done, but it might spoil the original kind of flair and a bit of cheesiness this game has. But it's
yeah.
not cheesy that it's the fact it's bad. It's cheesy with the fact it's got some funny, good kills and quirky stuff in it, which
And
is
you couldn't making a game like this today with today's graphics would kind of get into another one of those agony or hatred scenarios where people get all up in arms about it. Because this one kind of like passes the bar, as it were, because nothing really looks real because it's PS2 era.
yeah.
So it works for that, but the more realistic you get with this, the more potentially unpleasant you get with it too.
Yeah.
Because I'm fine with it in the video game or like a horror movie, but I don't really want to. I don't really feel I need to see a realistic recreation of a man getting his face pushed into a circle center. I don't need to see that.
Yes, but like the game, as I said, has good cheesiness to it. That it's graphic and it deserves its 18 rated game or R
Oh,
rated,
definitely, definitely.
but it's not to be taken seriously. Like you won't
Oh
play
no,
this game and
it's
you know
Marvel Comics.
it's yeah. I mean the thing is that
Iron
um
Man is in this game.
I mean, yeah, Iron Man's in this game, but also the other thing as well is that if you think that this game is gory and bad, then you haven't played the Manhunt games. I mean,
Oh god.
they are overbear like literally you strangle someone with a bag over their face and then punch them in the stomach while you're suffocating them, and it's not filtered.
With the Punisher game and a lot of the rating and stuff, like, as long as the like, would I give this game to like my 5 year old cousin to play? No, no, I would not. But like, even if there's someone's on it, like, I don't know, 10, 12 year old kid, if they, as long as they have like they can differentiate reality from fantasy, fine, why not? It's just a video game at the end of the day.
Yeah. So favorite part or favorite mission?
Frank's apartment, hands down for me. All the boss fights should have been this kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I think for me, probably. Actually, I don't really know, really. I like the Lucci estate. I think
The
that's a.
Nucci estate is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's. I think that. I mean, Frank's Frank's castle's apartment is good. Nucci estate's probably a close second. Um, or depending on.
Chop Shop is really good.
Chop Shop is
Chop
good.
Shop.
That's got some good kills. Um, uh, and l- not so good part for you.
The prison, the Igor Baltiski,
Definitely agree on.
and the Takagi, the last bit of the Takagi building.
Yeah, I don't like. I don't mind the Takagi. I can deal with the Takagi building. I can't
The
the
whole of the Takagi
the
building is fine for me.
Ilgor one I can't deal with.
Yeah, the boat's a bastard. It's a bastard boat.
Yeah.
Bastard Benny's bastard boat.
We
Yeah,
don't,
it's a
we
fun
don't,
game.
we don't talk about the log level.
Don't mention the logs. But yeah, it's a fun game. It's worth a look. The PS2 version has a little bit of extra stuff in it. Like you can dual wield different types of guns, as in like you can have like an Uzi in one hand and a revolver in the other hand, kind of thing. Like you can dual wield two different types of gun at the same time in the PS2 version. I've heard
I forgot about that one.
that's a pretty like cool little addition. But on the whole, just a fun little game. It doesn't really affect any change in the comics universe, but doesn't have to.
No, and
It's one of the there's like a few there's a short list of Marvel games that are not based on a movie. Like they're based on just the comics. There's this. There's Hulk Ultimate Destruction. There's X-Men 2 Wolverine's Revenge. There's Spider-Man 2000, Spider-Man Enter Electro, Ultimate Spider-Man, Shattered Dimensions, Web of Shadows.
Shadow Dimensions is one of the best Spider-Man games for me.
I have thoughts on that one actually. Like
I like the noir sections.
there's a
They're
major
my
part
favourite.
of a Spider-Man game I feel is missing from that one. Is my thing. And the X-Men Legends games are also based on comics, not on the movies.
Yeah. So score.
Score solid 7. The Punisher game because there is some jank and there is some game breaking bugs.
Yeah, I'd say maybe an 8, a low 8.
And the bosses are, with the exception of the first Russian fight, the bosses are uniformly awful.
Yeah, and they're all basically copy and paste essentially.
I mean, the tank and the helicopter are also kind of fun, but they're also kind of
Well,
every game has this.
yeah, I mean the tank and the helicopter, you can defeat the helicopter by rocket launcher, or you can defeat the tank with a grenade launcher. Both very very similar, copy and paste for me. And all the other ones are copy and paste because they're just headshot the bastard and they die. But the game is worth a look, as Merrick said. It's definitely worth a look. Um, if you do decide to play it without the black and white filter, it's definitely worth a playthrough to enjoy it. Um, I think um, thinking about playing it without the filter for me is not easy for me to decide because it's just like I don't want the filter on because I think I played without the filter once before and I'm used to that. And going back to where you have the filter kind of gets rid of the enjoyment of some of the kills because
I
some of
actually kind of I like the filter because it adds a like it's just it goes to black and white, and it feels like the Sin City movie or comics or something like that. And it works for me. Something about it just works. That I don't mind about it so much.
yeah, it's not terrible, um, but it's a fun game if you want to have a time where you want to have some good levels. It's got some good characters with some good appearances from some major characters in the MCU or the universe in general. Black Widow and Iron Man.
Mm.
Iron Man probably being one that people won't expect if you go into this
Nope.
game. You don't expect Iron Man to suddenly appear and um, in, in like in his suit as well, flying around. And then yeah, so I've not. I don't. There are other games we're going to do on the Marvel sort of side. Spider-Man being one. Um, I think there were others that you had in mind, wasn't there?
There are few, I just listed the ones that are not based on movies. Like any game we both played is obviously fair game for this show.
Yeah. Um, so could definitely give it a watch. Um,
Didn't you do this for this Punisher game for a 500 subscriber special?
I can't remember now, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you did for the 500 subscriber special before you had 500 subscribers.
Maybe I did. Yeah, also did Diablo 2 as well.
Oh yeah, but Diablo 2 is different. I have not played Diablo 2. Well, I have played Diablo 2, but haven't let's play Diablo 2
Yeah,
because it's not really my channel's thing.
yeah. it's up there with one of the best PC games. I think the original has a certain charm to it over the Resurrection remaster. Remaster
Mm.
isn't bad, but me and Dragon tried playing it, and it's not easy.
Yeah, it's over on his Twitch. Check in link in description below.
Yeah, and also check out Merrick as well. Um,
Link in description below if you're watching this on Classix channel.
yep, links in both our descriptions, and I
I
think,
I'm tempted to ask you to play a game just so we can do a podcast on it, but I'm not sure because it's quite bad.
oh dear,
If I suggest Right to Hell Retribution,
oh no,
but then you'd have to play it, and I don't want to inflict this game on another person.
yeah, I have to look up the gameplay first.
Fun fact about this game: I named all the episodes after '70s biker movies,
Oh right,
and I looked up a list of biker movies, and one of them like shocked me. It's like, wait, The Great Escape? It's not a biker movie. I mean, there's a motorcycle scene in it, but it's not a biker movie.
that's the game that you need to play as well, which is
I
the
will
Great
one of these
Escape
days.
game.
But don't know what the next episode is going to be, but there will be a next episode. But until then, I have been Merrick Tomato,
And I've been Classic Gamer.
and we'll see you on both of our respective channels and in the next episode.
Yes,
Ciao.
ciao.